gonna take. I'm gonna. I got a whole bunch of Image comics, and we're gonna rank them in a tier list, not like 1 through whatever. We're gonna rank them. S is the best. A, B, C, D, and then F.
Okay.
Gotcha. Do you understand?
I'm gonna write.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a little diagram for myself.
Yeah.
So S is the best, as in superior.
Yeah. Then A is awesome. B is bodacious. C is cockroaches. D is dicklicious.
Dicklicious.
And F is fun.
Fuck. B, C, D,
Yeah.
and F.
F. So, first one, Spawn. The comic book of Spawn. Where would we rank that?
I'm not going to call it an F because it had some fantastic art, but in terms of interest for me, I'm going to put Spawn in the D tier.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
It's just... Spawn cries in an alley, and Violator rips people up, and then there are homeless people drinking, and then you can pick up any issue of Spawn and you will see one of those three things, if not all of them.
Yeah, I mean, he had a movie.
It sucked.
It sucked. Who knows if this new movie is ever going to get made.
Probably will suck.
He had a cartoon.
I actually never saw the cartoon, but I heard nothing but great things about it.
He had a video game, which I remember playing and not hating. I need to do that on the channel.
That's at least fair. You could be like, I didn't hate it.
Yeah. All right. Youngblood.
We did like 1 through 4, and then he had that fucking stupid issue 5 in the back of Brigade that somebody else drew, and then he continued with issue 6, 7, 8, 9, skipped 9 because that was the Valentino Image crossover issue, and then he did 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would put those. I'm gonna go C.
Really?
I enjoyed it better than Spawn. I did.
I'm really surprised. I thought that was an F. In the F bin right away.
It has moments where there's like big, exciting action imagery, and I think it's more about, for me, the potential that was there that was never realized.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for whatever you say about Spawn, it's McFarlane's clear vision exactly as he wants.
Yeah.
Youngblood, for me, never reached what it could have been or should have been because of Liefeld's inability to not draw big explosive imagery of people punching things over and over and over. It's just the same thing. Yeah. But it was also kind of fun. I think there's some potentially interesting characters. So it's mid-pack at best for me.
Yeah. Wildcats.
I'm going to go... Oh, God.
I mean, Jim Lee's art is Jim Lee, but it wasn't the X-Men art like it was.
Yeah, and it's like Youngblood for me. It was never a fully realized idea. It's like all these guys had like this is an interesting idea, and it starts out like, oh my God, I can't wait to see where this goes. But it's like they had no idea where to go with it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it's A or B for me. I think I'm going to go B for Wildcats.
Yeah.
For me. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, but it was mostly because of the artwork. I ended up like, who cares about these characters? Like, if Voodoo would get naked, I'd be way more interested. If her and Zealot would get naked together in a shower.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I could write a good issue of Wildcats.
Okay. Cyberforce. It's kind of the same with Wildcats.
It's 100% like Wildcats. I think that I liked the way it started better. It seemed simpler. Wildcat seemed really convoluted, which is everything from Wildstorm. Mm-hmm. It seemed overly convoluted. Cyberforce seemed kind of stripped down, a little bit more bare bones. It's just X-Men with technology.
Yeah.
But it didn't have all the complicated shit. I feel like it started better and it ended like a bad fart. Like, I swear they got to issue 4 of the Cyberforce miniseries and he's like, it's just over. It's done. And then the regular series come along, and that was kind of fun. It started out, and then was it issue 2 where they did the Killer Instinct crossover? And that was fun. And then anything that Silvestri draws, I was like, even though Silvestri hates his artwork of that era, I was like into his artwork more than Jim Lee. So I'm going to actually give it A.
Oh, wow.
That's being very generous. It should be a B.
A minus.
A minus maybe. So I would put Cyberforce. And I understand I can combine them, but I liked it a little bit better. But they ended... Wildcats had... It felt like a more clear ending, even though it was boring. Cyberforce was just like... The end. I think he just wrote the end on a page and just ended it. He's like, can we get out of this?
The end question mark?
Yeah.
Savage Dragon.
That's easily the superior. You know this.
Yeah, S tier. Like, for such a long time, it was S tier. Like,
Yes.
And just like those, you've talked about it, those first few issues and going forward were just so good.
Top of the pile. This is the best Image comic ever.
Wow.
And I was just, because it was a simple story of one guy and an understandable kind of scenario with human dialogue.
His early art on that was really good, especially in black and white. I have the archives, you know, the first 25, and like there's some such good black and white art. Okay, Shadowhawk.
I'm not going to give it an F. Because Valentino gave a solid effort. He absolutely, F is not a failure. Or F is failure, but he did not fail. It just was the least interesting one to me by far. So I'm going to put it right next to Spawn in D category. The concept of Shadowhawk, I think, is more interesting than any of the execution that I saw.
All right, Wetworks.
Wetworks, great art. Great concept. And when I say concept, the original version that I seem to remember listening to interviews saying it's going to be like this. Like, it's going to be like Schwarzenegger in Predator, all those like badass soldiers, giant guns blowing away monsters. And in a way, that's what it was, but the execution of it was so boring.
Mm-hmm.
It was so boring. But Protasio's artwork carried it for a long time. Those images of those guys in that golden goo, like, he drew metallic texture so good. The inkers making it look good. So it's not a failure, but it is not memorable.
I don't remember anything about it other than Whilce Portacio did the first.
He drew golden people.
Yeah. All right, Pit.
It started out so strong and then kind of went weird places. I'm going to give it it's an A-B thing for me. I'm going to, this is a stretch, I'm going to go A. I'm going to put Pit in A category. Not perfect like Dragon.
And if he had like more of a definitive vision of where it was going, it might have been better.
Or even just stopped it and had it stand on its own and then wait until he had another definitive good story and do like a second volume of 4 or 5 issues. And instead of he just went on to like issue 20 or so.
Okay. So now I got 3 more, and they're still Image, but just not in this vein.
Yes.
So Witchblade.
I will put it at A, almost Savage Dragon level.
Mm-hmm.
I will put Witchblade right at that top because that was another perfect artist, and he just progressed so fast, so good. Michael Turner. The story I thought was fantastic, as my memories of it, you know.
They did like the cop thing better than Spawn did.
Yes.
All right. Gen 13.
The only reason Gen 13 worked was because of J. Scott Campbell's artwork.
Yeah.
The stories and the concepts are fucking boring cliche nonsense, and it only works because J. Scott Campbell's art carried the shit out of it. And the instant he was gone, I don't give a shit about any of them. The only interesting character to me is Caitlin Fairchild.
Yeah.
The mousy little, weak little book nerd who gets given the powers and the body of a sex goddess.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go... I'm going to put it right in the middle. It's Youngblood level for me. It's C for me.
All right. Last one. Invincible.
Superior.
Yeah.
Absolutely at the top. They did shit because it's not a corporate character. It's not Superman, so they could do anything they want. Robert Kirkman could do anything he wanted with his characters and explore the superhero concept.
All right.
What about Max?
What about him? You tell me.
I don't know. Is it, that's a major...
That was my list. So if you want to put him up there.
The artwork is so profoundly good, but it's still so odd to me. And I was not into the story. I collected it just kind of on principle for a long time. So for me, if I'm being extremely generous, I'd put it at C. And that's profoundly generous because Sam Keith is a dedicated, hardworking artist that stuck with his book and seems to be a nice guy. And I'm just being generous because I like him.
Yeah.
But The book was not for me, but to be fair, I never gave it a fair chance past 10 issues. I'm like, I can't fucking read this shit anymore. So, so yeah.
Alrighty.